But yeah, that bit in the middle of the day when they take you out to ride on the roads, I'm not so sure. And safety first, right? That's what we're talking about, practice, right? So you might get nervous, you might have anxiety, or just get anxious. The average person gets anxious. It's like, it's a common thing. And then, so I came from a family that was anti-bikes, so didn't have much experience of bikes, always interested in them, that kind of thing. And then, so when it comes to getting my own bike, when they do over here on your test for your Ps on your most, they do take you out into daytime traffic, busy, heavy traffic with all the trucks and stuff on some roads where you have to do 80, and they just want to check that you are not going to be a danger, I guess, to yourself and others, and that you can handle that traffic. And that does catch people out. So even at the moment I'm helping NVR2 learn how to ride. She's doing good, but maybe is focused a little bit too much on the slow speed maneuver stuff, and needs to focus now in particular on the riding in traffic. Because if I had to guess how she would do if she went through her test tomorrow, I think she'd be totally fine on the most, which is what everyone talks about, the motorcycle operation skills test. And that part's only, I don't know, like 10 minutes or something. Slow speed maneuvers, pretty confident she could bust all those out pretty well, even under pressure. But yeah, that bit in the middle of the day when they take you out to ride on the roads, I'm not so sure. And safety first, right? You want to make sure that you enjoy yourself, and I don't think anybody enjoys having an accident of some kind. You can get hurt, you can wreck your bike. It's not nice mentally or financially to go through something like that. So yeah, that can also just come down to nerves and anxiety, that kind of stuff. I get nervous. I think there's good nerves as well, like it's good to be nervous. It is a dangerous activity, there's definitely risks involved. I don't think the average person, if you ask them, would say, oh yeah, motorcycling, that's safe with no risk involved. So yeah, I think a little bit of nerves, being aware of the fact that you could potentially die, is probably a good thing to be aware of that and have that in mind, but not ride scared. Like, you've got to ride with confidence, so that if you do have to make a decision, you're going to act rather than freeze. And yeah, that probably does come with time on the bike, but with practice, that's what we're talking about, practice, right? So being aware there, like that car just coming out, just saw the front wheel starting to turn. I was like, okay, moving vehicle, roll off. And then I saw the indicator, they were indicated to go the other way, but they might still pull out wide. So, but yeah, you might get nervous, you might have anxiety, or just get anxious. The average person gets anxious. It's like, it's a common thing. And then a lot of people nowadays are getting diagnosed with anxiety and that kind of stuff, and that doesn't mean that people didn't have that in the past, it just was undiagnosed. So you know, and I get nervous and anxious as well, just like the next person. And I really feel for those who, you know, the nerves and anxiety are crippling. Because sometimes it's not as easy as just just cheer up, get over it, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's part of riding a bike. And I think NVR2 at the moment, not having ridden before, just finds being on the bike a bit nerve-wracking, and that's fair enough. It's a new thing. I think most people, when they're trying something new, find it nerve-wracking. And then with time and practice, less so, because you get confidence, because you hopefully get better at it. At least at least it will become more familiar. And I think that does help reduce anxiety, nerves, and that kind of thing. And you do have to be able to cruise around in traffic without getting super stressed, because being calm, I think, is a good thing, especially on two wheels. And hey, even now when I go to fill up the bike, I still get anxious and nervous. I don't know, I shouldn't, but I do. And yeah, I covered that in a video that went up last week about me getting nervous at the petrol pump and then finding it hard to get neutral and turn the bike off and that kind of stuff. And it's just part of it. In fact, the first time, so I came from a family that was anti-bikes, so didn't have much experience of bikes, always interested in them, that kind of thing. And then, so when it comes to getting my own bike, you know, I decided to get a new one from the dealer. They were doing a deal because it was an older model. They're trying to clear them out before the new ones came in, and I wanted, you know, to have that peace of mind that if I got it through a dealer, hopefully it'd be in good condition, and if anything went wrong I could take it back, all that kind of stuff. But there was this sticking point of how do I get it back to my place, because I don't know how to ride. Okay, it's not that I didn't know how to ride, it's just I was a beginner. Right, I'm a beginner now, but I mean I was like real beginner, super green. I think I'd done my learner course and I had my L's, so that basically said I'd done a 2-day course, half of which you spend pushing the thing around with your feet, and I'd done a theory test where it was multiple choice and I passed that. But you know, for me it was cross town, and that was a long way with some tricky parts, and I didn't feel confident. So I asked a buddy at the place I was working at the time who rode bikes, and he was like, yeah mate, I'll do that for you. Any excuse to ride a new bike. Oh, look at that. Gnarly. Yeah, he said any excuse to ride a different bike, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'll do that, no worries. So that solved that problem. But then I had to start riding the thing, and I've said in a few videos now that I think a car park is a good place to learn for sure, but for me there aren't any car parks near where I live, being rural, kind of regional New South Wales. So finding a car park wasn't the easiest thing for me, or a big car park, you know, with lots of space so I could do my thing without bumping into anything. But the problem was trying to get there. Again, didn't have that experience riding the bike, that kind of thing. And even then I did a video about car park fail. Like I just couldn't find one. I thought, oh yeah, I'll go to the airport, there's going to be big car parks there, and they're all full. So check that out if you want to have a chuckle at me trying to find somewhere to practice and failing. So then it was find a quiet housing estate, because those are all over the place where I am, and that was great. I did enjoy that. I thought it's a good, safe environment. In fact, on my learner course they were saying, you know, they chat to you in the breaks and stuff. Oh, where do you live? What's near you? Oh yeah, I reckon you'd be good in a housing estate, nice and quiet. You get familiar with that. You know, it's kind of real world, so it's roundabouts and giveways and driveways and junctions and all this kind of stuff, but not loads of traffic. So that's a good place. And I did that, and I was doing great. The only thing was, every time I did a practice session, the fuel gauge was going down and down and down. So I was trying to, you know, get better, get confident, get skills, whatever. But I just knew that the race between me and the fuel gauge, it was winning. I swear the air feels thicker today with that big weather event up in front of us, up in the north, coming down towards us in the south. It's going to hit later on today and dump a load of rain on us overnight.